Hello, hello, hello. Hello, YouTube land. It's me, Lauren Cadillac, aka OG Cadillac, aka Mother of the Decade, coming at you live today. I don't even know what day of the week it is. It's Friday. I know it's Friday, but I don't know what day. It's Friday in March. Allergy season has struck the DFW area, and I am like, oh my god, I feel like I keep drinking caffeine thinking it's gonna help me, but it's not really. It's like my eyes are just like puffy and allergic and unhappy. Oy vey. All right, so quick quick update on Diddy. It's not on the thumbnail, but gonna update. I saw yesterday that the prosecution is asking that they do jury selection in April so that on May 5th they can start their openings. The defense is saying, hold on, May 5th is pushing it, just for finding a jury. The prosecution makes a really good point, though. They're like, hey, July 4th is a really big holiday, and we'd like to have this jury free from jury duty by that time. So we are going to see, the great thing is, I'm going to be there on May 5th. I'm hoping that they've already done jury selection. I'm siding with the prosecution on this one. I'm hoping that I get to watch openings. That'd be sick. That'd be so cool. Oh my god, guys, look at the eye leakage. It looks like I'm crying. That is not crying. That is allergies. That is Texas. How dare you, Texas? Okay, so I really want the prosecution to get their way, and I really want the Diddy jury to start being chosen April 21st, and I really want the openings to be on May 5th. I also really want to find a house, and I need to move like ASAP, so if you guys could put that out into the ether for me, I'd appreciate it. I am going to be in New York May 5th and 6th, and I am going to put together a meet and greet, but I am desperately trying to find a home. And so I am highly distracted with the necessity to have a roof over my head. And once I secure that, then I'll start thinking about New York, okay? Okay. But Diddy is moving right along. I'm kind of surprised about how fast it's moving. I mean, I'm not surprised in terms of prosecution, right? Because the Fed, they come with receipts. When they come, they're ready. But I'm surprised in terms of his defense because they are really moving towards that May 5th. Like, this is the first time I've ever felt like confident that a trial was going to start on the day everyone's saying it's going to start. So that's a unique feeling. All right. Did you guys, right when my son was going away to college, there was this incident in Idaho. I guess this particular college in Idaho is really close to the Washington state border and a college over there. And these kids were living in like the party house right across the street from campus. And several of the children lives were taken in the middle of the night. Hey, Nene, welcome. The government has accused this man, Bryan Kohberger, of having stalked and gone into this house and taken the lives of these college kids. So, couple things. First, in Idaho, they definitely have the death penalty. He's being prosecuted in Idaho because that's where the crimes occurred. They have concluded that he can face the death penalty by firing squad. That's a thing. It's crazy. In 2025, we're going to have a firing squad. But okay. And so here, his defense made an argument that he's autistic, and so he doesn't necessarily understand the severity of the crime. I find that to be offensive. I think like everyone I know is on the spectrum, and everyone I know can pretty much know the difference between right and wrong. They know you can't like just stalk people and break into their house in the middle of the night. It's pretty basic shit, you know? So let's see what they have to say.
State v. Kohberger.
After a string of recent losses in court this morning, a new defense strategy. Signs that Bryan Kohberger's lawyers may be preparing to argue he's on the autism spectrum in a bid to get the death penalty off the table. While the details of the actual motion are still under seal, experts in the state say it's unlikely to succeed.
Idaho has eliminated the
Duh. So basically, his defense is saying, well, look, he's on the spectrum, so you can't give him the death penalty. Now, that's certainly true in some death penalty situations. If someone has like an IQ below 90 or what, I don't know what it is, but certain situations we will take away the death penalty because that person doesn't have necessarily like the capability to understand the laws in our society. But not this guy. This guy's getting a PhD in criminology.
Sanity defense in criminal cases. So an attempt to suggest that autism-related symptoms would automatically constitute any kind of defense in a criminal case is probably destined to fail.
The surprise move comes as the defense adds its newest team member, a California-based lawyer specializing in cases
I
involving
like her
forensic
hair.
DNA.
Red pain, last is spelled P-A-Y.
While a newly unsealed court transcript reveals how local police in Moscow, Idaho, zeroed in on Bryan Kohberger in mid-December 2022, after 4 University of Idaho students, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves, were found stabbed to death in their off-campus home. A previous judge entered a not guilty plea on Kohberger's behalf, but now as trial inches closer, his defense strategy has come into sharper focus. His lawyer suggesting unknown male blood was found in 2 other places at the crime scene, the railing of a staircase, and a glove found outside of the home. In that newly unsealed transcript, the defense asking Detective Brett Payne why they did not immediately try to track down unknown male B. Payne responding, at that point in time, we had already received Mr. Kohberger's name. Meanwhile, the state also revealing in a new motion, prosecutors plan to present a 3D model of the house where the students were killed for the trial this August, after the university demolished it last year.
So it seems like a pivot from the defense
Dang.
last week in terms of that.
I didn't know the university demolished the house. That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense because nobody's going to want to live in that house anymore. Okay, so it looks like there is another suspect that the cops overlooked, as per always. All right, so now there was a releasing of, okay, so if I don't know if you know the whole situation. This house was like 3 or 4 stories, right? On the very bottom floor, kids had rooms. Middle floor, kids had rooms. The very top floor, kid had rooms. And they were like the hangout house, okay? So on the night of the incident, it seems like the suspect went up and not down because some of the kids who were renting in this house remained alive and were texting with each other. So let's see what this has to say.
New evidence in the Idaho murders trial. Officials releasing chilling text messages that were sent the night, the night an intruder stabbed 4 college students to death. Chanley Painter has all the details for us. Chanley?
Good morning, Ainsley. So we are learning in newly unsealed court documents that both surviving roommates in that off-campus home were seemingly awake as a masked intruder murdered 4 of their friends, with the 2 texting minutes after, one desperately trying to contact the victims, writing, quote, "No one is answering." The text exchange goes on to read, in part, quote, "I'm not..."
This is so scary. This is very scary. Okay, so they've hidden the names of the kids, the roommates. All right, so DM to BF. I'm not kidding, I'm so freaked out. BF to DM, so am I. DM to BF, my phone is going to die. F word. BF to DM, come to my room. BF to DM, run. BF to DM, down here. Okay.
I'm so freaked out, so am I. My phone is going to die. Come to my room, run down here. One of those roommates has previously been identified as the only eyewitness who saw the intruder, a masked man with, quote, bushy eyebrows, Her statements, along with these
Okay, so this is BF. She was on the first floor. DM was on floor 2, and she said her phone is dying. Ethan and Xana were on floor 2, and then Kaylee and Maddie are on floor 3.
text and security footage from next door are helping build a timeline for prosecutors of when the suspect arrived to that home. The court also releasing a transcript of the 911 call. Multiple people appear to frantically explain that they found one of their victims unresponsive. That 911 call not taking place until noon the next day. So while
Okay, so that's very strange, right? Like these girls are texting, "Oh my God, I'm so scared. Come down here. I'm scared," and then they don't get up until noon the next day. Now they're texting at like 3 a.m. So noon is like what, 6-7 hours, but still, I don't know.
prosecutors are asking the court to allow all this evidence in against suspect Bryan Kohberger during his trial, the defense wants to prevent the use of that phrase, bushy eyebrows, to describe the intruder because, get this, they believe it could bias the jury against him. Back to you.
It
All right,
will.
Shirley, thank you so much.
It will, in fact, bias the jury. I mean, that's your job as a defense attorney, right? You, like, make stuff up, like, that's it. Yeah. It is going to prejudice them. But, you know, if bushy eyebrows is what she remembers, then maybe he should have trimmed his eyebrows. Okay, so now we're going to switch to another Idaho lady. I don't know what's going on in Idaho, y'all. There's people, I guess because it's cold and there's like nothing to do there. I don't know. Okay, so we haven't talked about her a lot here, but there's this lady, Lori Vallow Daybell. Okay, I know you've heard about her. They called her the Doomsday Mom. Basically, she's a Mormon hairdresser, and she falls in love with this guy, Chad Daybell, who is like, basically writes fantasy novels and goes to seminars and tells people about like the second coming. All right, so she and Chad meet at a seminar. They fall in love. Next thing you know, her brother is taking the life of her husband in self-defense. Okay, so there's this whole story about how her estranged husband, because they became estranged after she started dating Chad, about how he got in a fight with her brother, and then her brother takes the life of her husband in self-defense. Arizona never pressed any charges because they said, okay, it's self-defense. Fine. All right. There's a lot of weird stuff out of that, like from when her brother shot her husband to the time they called 911 was like 45 minutes. She was like hyper focused about getting the youngest child to school. The youngest child was like the great nephew of her husband, and they adopted him. And he has some like mental special needs and stuff. But her daughter's story aligned with her story at the time of the shooting of the husband. So they said, okay, this is self-defense. Well, then, like a week later, she moves her and her children. So the adopted son that she adopted with her now deceased husband, and then her daughter. And then she has another son, but he's grown up. And she moves with those children to some random place in Idaho, which happens to be only miles away from Chad Daybell, her new lover. And then, all of a sudden, Chad Daybell's wife passes away. Big surprise. Then, Lori Vallow Daybell's children disappear. Big surprise. And then, Lori and Chad end up in Hawaii. Okay, so obviously, oh, by the way, the carcasses of the children were found on, in Chad's property in Idaho. So cool story. All right, so both of them have gone to trial in Idaho. Both of them have been sentenced to life. Like, they're done. They're going to jail. But Lori is now having to face a jury in Arizona because that's where her and her brother colluded to take the life of her then husband. Okay. Now, she had attorneys in Idaho, but she does not have counsel in Arizona. She is representing herself. And she tried to get, so there couldn't be cameras in the courtroom, but the judge was like, nah. All right, so here we go.
Was already serving life in prison in Idaho for the murders of her 2 kids and also the wife of her 5th husband. She
5th husband, dude.
never exactly struck me as someone who didn't love the attention. At least like it. But one of her first big moves after being allowed to represent herself in court was to kick those cameras out of court. And today, the judge held a hearing on that. And lucky for all of us who value open public justice in America, her motion was denied. Vallow's 2 separate murder conspiracy trials will not only be open to cameras, they will be live streamed. The Team Vallow, which is to say, Lori.
We will watch those. We will watch those.
Had a comeback for that too, and yes, it was on camera. Take a look.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
Could I just add that we want to make sure that the cameras aren't going to be zooming in at any level to get to our notes and the things that are going to be on the table. I also, previously, what has happened before is that they just have the camera on my face the entire trial. So I think when the judge is speaking, the judge needs to be on the camera. When the state is speaking, they need to be on camera. If we can add.
Is she a director now? Director Vallow?
No! You're not a director, Lori.
Exactly. She thinks she is.
By Lauren Mathias. She was in that courtroom today, sitting just a few chairs away from Lori Vallow. I don't know if your head was...
Okay. This lady. All right. Here is Lori arguing on behalf of herself.
1704 CR 2022 001242.
It's a tiny courtroom.
For the record, the next defendant in 2021 and the victim in the 2022 are appearing virtually.
Good morning, Your Honor. Pamela Hicks, advisory counsel on behalf of Ms. Daybell, and Robert Abernathy is out of the office today.
Okay. You want to announce?
Lori Daybell,
Thank you.
on behalf of myself.
All right, we have a number of things to get through this morning. The first thing I want to address is there's been multiple media requests. I don't know if there's a representative of the media that can address this, but my question is, if there's a single pool camera, is there some sort of agreement or cooperation between other media outlets to use a single camera?
Your Honor, if I may, Matthew Kelly, I represent Court TV, and our understanding is that, yes, there's a pool arrangement, and Court TV has asked to be the pool for the trials in this matter. I believe that that request is pending with the PIO. Regardless, the media that are interested in camera coverage do have a pool arrangement.
State Supreme Court, Mr. Justice Clark, held that failure of the state judge in murder prosecution to protect defendant from inherently prejudicial publicity, which saturated the community to control disruptive influences in courtroom, deprived the defendant of a fair trial consistent with due process. So that in Arizona versus Cheney, which was the defendant is entitled to fair and impartial trial when publicity pervades court proceedings to the extent that the proceedings were prejudiced to the defendant. So obviously you read my objection, so I just wanted to add those on the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your prior attorneys had filed a series of objections to media coverage media being allowed in the courtroom, and I made a prior ruling that was filed back September 4th, which was fairly comprehensive. I am inclined to allow one pool camera. I'll issue an order with more detailed findings
Good.
today or tomorrow. But essentially, there won't be any media coverage during the jury selection process, and I'll put the reasons for that in the order.
Obviously.
So that's, again, I'll issue a more detailed order later today or tomorrow. All right.
Your Honor, there's also the issue of whether Court TV would be allowed to live stream the trial, in other words, broadcast online in real time. Court TV would prefer to do that.
Are you able to? Are they able to do a 1 or 2 minute delay?
Certainly, we can certainly do that. I just want to inform you, Honor, however, that when we share the footage with the pool, we can't delay that footage. So your order would need to require that all media receiving the feed delay it by however long you wish to delay it.
Okay, so Court TV wants to be the owner of the live stream. Of course, it's a pool, so everybody can use it and tap into it and run it on their own channel. Of course, we'll be watching. Of course, we'll be getting updates.
Yes.
All right, let me ask the state next. Earlier during these proceedings in past hearings, you indicated you thought the state's case in chief would take 2 weeks. You requested yesterday
Fast.
6 weeks.
Your Honor, I did say 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
But I did say that while we had a defense attorney on and not Ms. Vallow herself. I am familiar with other procure trials where generally the timelines are in excess of those with the
Double.
So in order to make sure that we aren't asking the jury later to sit longer than pre-screen them, I believe it would be a
So she's like, if it was me and another lawyer, this would take 2 weeks. But since it's me and a hairdresser, it's going to take a lot longer.
To go half day.
correct, Your Honor.
When
Okay.
you file but it
More
seems like based on
scheduling?
the state's response that there was some confusion about what was a interview recorded in an interrogation room situation versus a body cam. Did the state's response provide clarification to you?
No. So the body cams were turned over, and they're in like 12-minute increments. There's like 4 different body cams. This was a full 2-hour video that was released by Gilbert Police to the public, and it's online. So I would like that video of the interrogation room, the full 2-hour one, to be turned over to the defense.
All right, so do you know what that is?
Your Honor, based upon the defendant's reply, she's requesting a video interview from the 31st. Those are on body cam and were turned over to the defense. We have requested everything from, I think that one was from actually the Gilbert Police Department. A lot of these overlap. So I am not sure what the defendant
Who was the person being interviewed in, you said, the 2-hour interrogation that Gilbert released?
So it's myself and my daughter, Tylee Ryan, and Melanie Gibb.
And is that in an interrogation type room?
Yeah, it was at the Gilbert Police Station, and I didn't realize we were being filmed that whole time. I didn't know we were being filmed, but we were being filmed in that room.
I think I've seen all of those.
That's how they treated the entire case like it was self-defense. All of those are relevant to the defense that it was self-defense. So, yes, I think they're for that purpose. But I also think that Alex's statements also have...
Alex is her brother who shot her husband. Somehow, after the kids passed away, after she took the kids, Alex passed. I don't remember how, but
A lot of the exceptions apply.
he's no longer with us.
803, 804, there's a lot of exceptions that also apply to some of his statements, and not all of his statements.
Such as what? Which statements do you think they
So,
applied?
specifically, his statements made on body cam to police in the driveway, specifically his...
I don't know what the statements are, so that's what I'm asking. What specific statements do you think are allowed to come in under the rules of evidence?
I think under 8031, the present sense impression is his statements made to police officers at the house.
A present sense impression is where you're actually observing something and you're talking about it as you see it happen. So, isn't he saying, again, I don't know what the statements are, but is he saying what happened prior? Or is he saying
Yes,
something
prior.
that he's, okay,
Correct,
so it's not a
prior.
present sense impression.
Okay.
What else?
Then I think it falls under 8032, excited utterance. He was under the stress of the whole situation when he made those statements.
Oh, she's right about that. I think she's right about that.
What was his demeanor when he made those statements?
Upset.
What's the
Excitable.
specific statement?
I shot my brother-in-law in self-defense. I got hit in the head with a bat. There was an altercation. I don't know what all the statements are, but
How long after the incident did he make these statements?
immediately after, as far as I know.
Well, immediately to some people it means 2 seconds, to other people it means 30 minutes. Tell me what immediately means to you.
As soon as the police arrived.
I don't know what, did they arrive 30 minutes after the incident? 10 minutes, an hour?
Like an hour.
I was not there. I do not know what time they arrived.
All right. So you're asserting excited utterance, some of these statements come in. What else?
8033, the mental, emotional, and physical condition, because it shows his state of mind, which was scared at the time.
Any others?
She's doing decently.
35B, the recorded recollection. I know that in the state's reply to my response, they did not think that 805 applied because A, B, and C, but I did not see an and after A, so my assumption was that B and C, since there's an and after B, were what needed to be put together. So B was made or adopted by this witness when the...
Okay. I'm pretty impressed. For a total cuckoo bird, she's actually doing decently. She's getting some hearsay objections, like some hearsay exceptions out there. Okay, Lori. Well, I mean, she really has nothing better to do than sit around and, read legal doctrine all day. So, hey, Blue Nettie, welcome. Hi, Columbus. Okay, guys, so last story of our day, of our week this week. And I have to go check my email and see if I got a damn house or not. Oh, Lord, y'all. Okay. So, Belen found this story for me, and this shit is wild. This is also in Arizona, right? So Lori Daybell was like Arizona, she was Idaho, Arizona. We're back to Arizona. We're gonna watch this video together.
Nobody does Truck Month like the Texas Truck Headquarters, Down East Ford. You've heard the news, market conditions.
Sorry, guys. That's loud as shit.
We encourage everybody, use ultrasound. I tell you, doctor.
This was Mary Blakely's sales pitch on her YouTube channel. For her patients seeking a holistic alternative, she was known as Dr. Mary.
We screen your whole entire body. Every organ has a normal size, texture.
These full body scans, Mary says, could detect all kinds of diseases and ailments, even cancer.
Okay, well, I'm from Europe, Karolinska Medical Institute.
She claimed to have 3 decades of experience that included training in Sweden, a PhD in vascular physics, and working at a cancer hospital.
While I was at the hospital, it was one of the best in the country. All we did was watch people die.
Eventually, Mary started her own practice in several states, including Colorado, Nevada, and most recently, Lake Havasu City, Arizona.
She really cared about helping people, to be honest about it.
As a licensed masseuse, this woman, who didn't want to share her name, says she worked with Mary at the London Bridge Wellness Center for the last few years.
Were you ever one of Dr. Mary's patients?
Yeah, I got a scan, of course, sure.
And did you feel like it was legitimate and helpful?
Yeah, it was actually.
Dr. Mary boasted a smart chip technology in her ultrasound machine, allowing for a more thorough scan.
My mother had been seeing her since 2018.
Christina Jones says her mother, Joanne, went to Mary for a second opinion. She had a lump in her throat. Her doctor recommended a biopsy, but Joanne wanted a holistic treatment and kept going back.
I had no reason to not believe. And then in 2023, June of 2023, she woke up one morning and she didn't have a voice.
Christina tells us things went downhill from there.
At that point, the cancer was so far gone that she ended up at Banner Hospital in Tucson, where they did a complete thyroidectomy. She ended up with a tracheotomy.
Joanne had stage 4 thyroid cancer. She was given less than a year to live. Christina says Mary denied that her mom had cancer.
Even after all that, she went back to Dr. Mary?
Yep, she did.
The fact that they're even calling her Dr. Mary when they know. Okay.
She tells us Mary sold her mother expensive creams and vitamins, which she used to the very end. Joanne died in August.
And it was that second opinion that basically, I believe wholeheartedly, that it took her life.
Just months later, the FBI raided Mary's home and office. She and her husband, Fred Blakely, charged with mail and wire fraud, along with conspiracy. A new picture of Mary emerged.
Well, I'm a vascular physicist by degree.
A vascular physicist by degree. Now, one thing, no, but when someone says, Lauren, what do? I never go, I'm an attorney by degree. I'm a lawyer by degree. No. When someone says by degree, that's a lie. That means something's wrong. People don't talk that way.
According to the 9-count indictment, the couple owned and operated a series of unlicensed medical clinics, extracting millions of dollars from their clients by means of their false claims, offering their ineffective pseudotherapies in lieu of conventional treatment, depriving their trusted clients of the opportunity for continued life and health. Prosecutors say that included prescribing several drugs meant for animals as
prescribing medications for animals? And how is she even prescribing?
For cancer and heart disease in humans. Court documents show that from 2021 to 2023, undercover FBI agents posed as customers, family members, and a potential business associate. In a motion to keep the couple detained, prosecutors called their case overwhelming.
It's unbelievable.
Charity Carson Hawk is Mary's estranged daughter. When they reconnected in 2018, she says she visited her mother's office and immediately became concerned something wasn't right. She says she knew her mother hadn't spent 30 years in Sweden or worked for a cancer hospital because her mother and Fred spent 4 years in federal prison for manufacturing meth.
I tried to warn.
She wasn't in Sweden. She was in federal prison for meth manufacturing. She's not a doctor, she's a pharmacist. This shit is wild, y'all.
Warn these people. I tried, but I can only do so much.
We confirmed Charity filed a police report, one of 3 Lake Havasu City Police received since 2018. In 2 of them, the officer noted she had a PhD in physics and wasn't pretending to be a medical doctor.
If we don't have evidence to support that there's any kind of illegal activity, then we can't take any action.
But according to the indictment, there's no record of her having a PhD. Court records show she didn't take insurance. Instead, she accepted cash and gold.
I couldn't believe.
Cash and gold? Cash and gold. I mean, it's one thing to accept cash, right? But gold? And if you go to a medical doctor that does not take medical insurance, what? Gold.
Believe that she went to that extent to make up all these phony certificates and doctorate degrees.
Mary told police in
so she could get that gold.
2023, her business is a research facility that all her patients sign a disclaimer notifying them her services are for informational purposes only. She also reportedly told the officer it's a private ministerial association and that patients sign a membership form. Included in that form, wording that restricted patients from talking to police or pursuing legal action against a fellow member, unless exposed as a clear and present danger of substantive evil.
Have you ever...
Who wrote that contract? Who wrote that? Substantive evil. That's not legal terminology.
Seen a medical professional asking a patient to sign forms like that?
Not in my experience.
The Blakeleys moved around a lot, changing their name and the names of their practices.
I hope more people come forward and, express what, she's done to them and their families.
This case has gotten so complex, the FBI has launched an entire website seeking patients of Dr. Mary Blakely.
Crazy. That is just crazy, guys. So this lady, the FBI is out here. If you have seen this lady, if she's your doctor, they want to hear from you. Okay, the FBI wants to hear from you. This is wild. All right, so here is the U.S. District Court indictment. She held no medical license where she operated clinics. Her husband, who she was divorced from, claims to be her husband. Weird. Okay, the FDA. Okay, here we go. Though the clinics offered medical treatment publicly, the central was a full body scan, which was an in-office where Mary claimed was an ultrasound machine enhanced by her own smart chip technology. Wow, okay. They said that it could detect illness, including blood cancers. It could cure things. It could treat and cure things. Cleaning the brainstem. Oh my Lord. Oh my God. Y'all. Y'all. Let's see see, they charge $300. That's all they charge for this full body scan. The scan that's going to find everything in your body and cure it all is only $300. Come on. Let's see, they sold to third parties. Their smart chip ultrasound, that's crazy. Wow. Then they trained people. Wow. Y'all, these people are out of control. Out of control. And, you know, taking advantage of people in their absolutely most vulnerable moment. Absolutely most vulnerable moment. Somewhere was pictures. Let's see. Oh, there was a picture of her degree. And it says, it doesn't even say Doctor of Physics. It says Doctor of Philosophy. Here it is. I don't believe they would put Mary Blakely PhD because they're conferring the PhD onto her. She's not yet the PhD. And a Doctor of Philosophy is not a doctor at all. Even a Doctor of Physics, like that's not medical. That's not a medical doctor, not a medical doctor. So this disgusting human being and her husband, who's not her husband, who is her husband, made a bunch of shit up and then took advantage of people in, you know, their weakest, their most vulnerable state while they're feeling sick, while they think they might be dying. Feds are coming for her, though, so she's fucked. All right, so May 5th, I'm going to definitely be in New York. We're going to be watching Diddy. Hopefully it's the openings. Hopefully they've already done voir dire and found the jury. If not, I'll report back to you. Soon, not today, but soon, I will come up with details for a meet and greet in NYC, okay? I've just been dealing with trying to find a house with a pool. Princess Lauren needs her pool. So bear with me. I'm sorry. I will come back to you with more. There hasn't been a lot going on in the trial world. If there's any trial you're interested in me watching or reporting, please put it in the comments, email me, whatever. Just let me know if there's anything you want us to watch together. Otherwise, I'll just keep finding... Oh, one thing. Gene Hackman, we talked about him. I can't believe it's already been like 2 weeks, I think. Anyhow, they figured out the mystery. So Gene Hackman was 95 and suffered from severe Alzheimer's. His wife was 65, and it looks like they did an autopsy. She died from some sort of rat poisoning or something that had to do with rodents and disease, okay? And then it turns out the dog that passed was also like in a kennel. And so what they believe happened is she passed, and then Gene kind of just like walked around the house aimlessly for like a week or so, because again, he had like really bad Alzheimer's, so he's not really able to like process that information. Then he fell, couldn't get up, boom, it's all over. So that is like bizarre and tragic at the same time. So R.I.P. Gene Hackman and wife. Next week, let me know what you want to talk about. Yes, Blue Netty, when the feds come up, you shut the fuck up. This is so true. This is so true. All right, let me know what you want to hear about next week. Let me know if there's any big trials of anything that interests you. Okay? Pray for me and my house with the pool. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your likes and your subscribers. You guys are amazing. It is so cool to have so many subscribers. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here today, and I will see you again next week.